Welcome to the Fox 5 Summer Weather Outlook Special. And we are live here tonight. My name is Tucker Barnes. I'm the Chief Meteorologist here at Fox 5. I am joined by my colleagues, Caitlin Roth, and the one and only Mr. Mike Thomas. Take a bow, Mr. Thomas.
Hurrah, hurrah. Nice to see everybody here this evening. Tucker, I gotta say, I always like doing a summer outlook a week after summer starts.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's really not going to be hard for us to do an outlook when it's already been hot, humid, and we've had big storms, including today. But we're going to have a lot of fun around here. Okay, we want to set the stage for you. We're trying something new here on Fox Local. This is absolutely live, and we want it to be interactive. So please, Tucker Fox 5 is my X account. Mike, we can find you at?
I'm Mike G Fox 5, and we got Caitlin too. What are you, Caitlin? Caitlin Roth Fox. Oh, wow, we're really original with those names.
And we want everybody to interact with us. You got questions? It can be any kind of question at all. Like, for instance, I have a question right here from A. Ovechkin. Mike, why is your dog named Sid? Well, why is it not Ovi?
I'll tell you what, we go over that during the winter outlook. When we wait till that
yes.
one.
Tell me you're not a Penguin fan. All right, let's get down to business. Now, here's the deal. If you don't stay till the end of the show, and this is not a success, Mike is going to have to do something desperate. Perhaps OnlyFans?
Well, I've been on that for a while. I mean,
so I got to be honest with you. It's not looking good for any of us if he has to do OnlyFans.
Neither is my OnlyFans.
We will do what it takes to be a success around here. So we really want to encourage you to hang in there. Okay, let's.
We should also mention. So we're also, if you're thinking of like, okay, how besides I don't have Twitter or whatever, I don't have X, YouTube. We're on YouTube right now as well, and we're getting live questions on the YouTube that we can answer live as we do this.
So far, let me look. We have no questions.
We have no questions.
So ask us a question on.
I think the
on
OnlyFans comment just chased half the audience away, but we're gonna try and bring it back in.
Well, right. We want them off OnlyFans talking to us.
Yeah, save that for later.
You guys show me how to get into your account sometime. Okay, let's do the weather, and we're going to start with just what's the setup here because we've been so hot the last couple days.
We have, and I mean summer's in DC. Okay, so summer out compared to a winter outlook, where I would say a lot more folks at home or sort of into it, because winters can range from 60 degrees in rain to 20 degrees in massive snows here in DC. Summers, even a cool summer, you're getting heat waves here in Washington.
Sure are.
So yeah. I mean, any regular old summer is going to get you some heat. We're starting early this year, I would say, which is funny because we didn't have a 90-degree day until, a week and a half ago.
Middle of June.
Yeah.
And, it was it was such a rainy month of May, and we kicked off the first 2/3 of June, very rainy. Making up for that deficit, and then the high heat just arrived in the last couple of days. And everybody asks, why do we get so much heat around here? You want to explain?
Well, I mean, back in the day, and I mean, I don't quite remember. I was born after, but you might remember the days when DC was a swamp.
Yep.
Way back when, and just this environment around the Potomac River, a lot of marshlands that we've paved over and turned it into the most livable environment we can around here. Now we've replaced it with pavement for much of it. Now we have a great building here at Fox 5, nice and tall, and we can actually see compared to like a New York City how green it looks from the top. But anytime we take that kind of environment and we swap it over and we try to live here, we're going to get heat and particularly humidity.
Yeah, we do. And of course we get the big Bermuda high every year. I mean the sort of atmospheric players on a larger scale are always the same around here. In some variation, but the bottom line is the Bermuda high always delivers punishing heat and humidity.
Yeah, it does. And I would say, did we get lucky or did we not get lucky during this heat wave this week? We didn't hit 100 degrees. What Philly did, New York did, Boston did, but the reason we didn't hit it was just because we were so daggone humid here. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to our first package, and everybody's participating in this. This package is from our very own Gwen Talbert, who I hope is watching right now, and it's on Keep Yourself Safe in the Heat.
Up dealing with extreme heat with triple-digit highs, humidity kicking in, and heat index values in the triple digits as well. It's no wonder playgrounds like this and parks are empty. All too often, people do not recognize the signs that come with heat-related illnesses, things that could put their life in risk.
Heat exhaustion will often lead to heat stroke if we do not recognize it and act appropriately. So heat exhaustion, often symptoms will be related to doing activities out in heat, and you will see an increase in your core body temperature. Typically it'll be about 101 up to 104 degrees. It's starting to be where our body's cooling mechanism is just not working like it should be. The heat exhaustion symptoms can be nausea, it can be vomiting. might feel dizzy or lightheaded. A little bit headache might occur. When we recognize that, we want to take interventions to prevent the heat stroke.
Heat deaths are preventable, but despite that, more than 1,220 people are killed by extreme heat across the U.S. every year. The National Weather Service U.S. Natural Hazard Statistics Report states that heat has caused more deaths in the U.S. annually than hurricanes and tornadoes combined over the past 30 years. So while you want to make sure you enjoy the summer, make sure you also educate yourself about the signs and symptoms of heat-related illnesses, because we definitely want to know that you'll stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Gwen. And my first suggestion on that package, she needs a pair of sunglasses. It's kind of squinting there a little bit.
With that much sun right there, but that's Gwen for you. Hey, one thing she did mention, though, was, and I think people often forget about this, because what makes all the weather headlines is always, what, tornadoes, thunderstorms, all that stuff. Heat waves are the deadliest natural disaster.
Yeah, it's a killer. In all seriousness, it's a killer.
Right, and that's why this week, I mean, we've been running stories about folks without air conditioners and all that stuff, and it's absolutely rough when the worst of the summer heat happens. And we're getting questions right now on YouTube. Let's say, like, D. Wilson there, 95, wants to know if we're getting warmer weather in July. We're going to cover that real quick.
Yeah,
although
I got to hop on in.
I got to shout out to Marty, I want to say, Marty Vance there. Cool seeing you guys. I've been watching Fox 5 for years, since the Tony Perkins day, which, if you may remember from back in 2011.
Yeah? That's where Mike came from.
I was his intern.
Yeah,
back
he
in
was.
The day, yeah. And now look at me.
Look at him. He was just so young and cute back in the day. All right, okay, we're getting serious here. Now this is live stuff, so we don't know where it's going to go. Thank you for all the nice comments. Yeah, I tried to banter with Steve in the morning. That guy is a bore. Oh, Steve, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Okay, let's talk summer. Let's talk summer. Mike, you got to focus.
Let's focus. We're focused. We're focused.
Okay, we're focused.
All right, summer outlook. So, and that was to go back to the question from Mr. Wilson there. How are we expecting the rest of this summer to go?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Let's jump in. We're going to throw up our graphics here and just explain a heat wave here in D.C. Now, you'll hear that term a lot on the news. Mm-hmm. What is it officially? It's 3 days or more of 90 degrees plus, and we had a long one last year. 11 straight days was actually not a record, but the longest in I think about 20 years here in Washington. Just like in the winter, we watch our El Nino, La Nina, and off the cuff, it's not doing anything this year. It's just quiet, it's neutral. Water's there, a mixture of warm and cool. This is down out the Pacific Ocean. It's complicated. The only thing that's going to tell us right there is it's not really going to impact us in terms of summer. That does impact the hurricane season as well, which the Atlantic also does. Very warm temperatures. And how does this impact us on a day-to-day basis? Well, you feel the humidity outside today.
Sure.
Likely going to have to deal with a lot more humidity as this summer rolls on. So, just talking about July as a whole, above normal temperatures, not really favored. I mean, you see the orange there on the map.
We're right on the edge.
We're right on the edge of it for the upcoming July, and this is based
Mike,
on a few
real quick, in
different
July,
outlooks.
what's kind of the hottest time of year? Next couple weeks?
Next couple of weeks, right.
And our average high is what, about 90?
It actually is 90,
Yeah.
I think, just after the 4th of July, and then it stays there for 2 weeks. So just because you see average on there, it doesn't necessarily mean we're in for a cool month. I mean, July, your hottest month of the year on average here in D.C. Now, the one thing that we have had a ton of already, and we had several questions come in about this on a few of our platforms. I know on Facebook someone asked earlier that we've already had a couple severe weather threat days this season, tornado warnings and such. Are we going to be looking at more of that? And sort of the expectation through July, and this is not so much tropical, this is more just regular old thunderstorms, but it does look like it's going to be a pretty active pattern, Tucker, as we go through July.
It does, and remember, May was, over 9 inches of rain, and June very wet, and if we keep it going in July, we'll continue to have problems around here. Of course, we had some flooding issues last couple weeks. Some of the trees that are starting to fall in some of our storms, the soil's been so saturated. So if we were to keep it above normal in July, we would have to certainly be concerned here about the potential for rivers and flooding and that kind of thing a little bit down the road. And of course, we'll talk tropics here before the end of the show, but if we get an active tropics or a tropical storm, that would be a big concern as well.
Right, and then that brings up the rest of summer. The general outlook, and this is from multiple sources here, generally suggesting that we're in for a pretty heavy backloaded summer. August looks pretty hot and drier compared to July standards. It looks like August and you get this a lot when we don't have a prevailing factor like
Sure.
El Nino, La Nina in play. You're going to get stuck in these patterns, and it looks like we'll get stuck in sort of a weather-leaning pattern in July that'll shift back to a drier-leaning pattern in August and just feature above normal conditions.
Now, we're getting lots and lots of questions. We love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching us live. First question, Tucker, are you going to be back on the 6 a.m.? Yeah, I'm going to be back on the 6 a.m. You better believe it. I can't get enough.
No, you
Yeah,
can't.
I'll be back on the 6 a.m.
You're what, like 12 hours away or something?
But continue to send us questions. All right, our next package is from our meteorologist, Caesar, who's got the latest on pet safety. Now, please take in these graphics because this is next level. Mike, take a look at this.
Let's see.
While we're in summer, we always talk about how we should be careful about ourselves for all of that extreme heat, the dangerous heat waves, things of that sort. But also our furry friends do suffer during these times. So let's take a look exactly just how we can protect them. When we see temperatures of about 95 degrees, that's where we want to start to really be vigilant, because asphalt can start to get as hot as 140 degrees, and that could burn your pup's paws or any animal's paws, even young children's, the bottom of their feet, in about 5 minutes at around 120. So it only takes about a minute for paws, feet, exposed skin to burn on asphalt. Concrete can get up to 125 when the air temperature is at 95 degrees. Grass can even be warmer than that. So again, that's why we always mention hanging out in shaded areas. Also, talking about car temperatures inside of summer heat, right? 90 degrees outside, your car could get to 109 right around 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, 119. That becomes extremely dangerous. And at that point, it is very imperative to then make sure we cool down, call 911, all of the emergency services, so that nothing too catastrophic happens. But again, some tips to just make sure we keep our pets safe. Don't leave them in hot cars. Do not leave any pets, any children. Always make sure to check in the back. And it's best also to leave your pets at home. Keep your pets hydrated. Also, taking walks during cooler times of the day, so early in the morning or later at night once the sun goes down or before the sun rises. Avoid hot surfaces for their paws, and also make sure to take frequent breaks in between. Find some shaded area, and that's also where you can usually not only get them some more hydration, but yourself, so that you are also able to produce that sweat and also just stay cooler and much more healthy through these summer months, and especially as we continue seeing all of this heat. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Caesar. And yes, listen, I mean, with temperatures all week long here, 95 to 100, really take the pet safety seriously. You know, you leave a pet outside, they can't cool their bodies the way we can, and you can be in trouble in a hurry. So great stuff from Caesar. Hey, I want to welcome the one and only Caitlin Roth.
Hello. Thanks for having me on your and Mike's special. I'm
Yes.
so happy to be here. Yeah.
As some of you at home may know, we live in the same house, right?
We're roommates.
Yes, we're
No,
roommates.
We
and
are
we're also
married.
married.
Yeah.
And I get so many questions. I go on these zip trips. I see our viewers out and about, and they all want to know. They've got a couple questions for me. The first one usually goes like this: Hey, Tucker, does Caitlin call you Chief at home?
The answer is no.
No, the answer is yeah. She does call me
I
Chief.
do not.
Yeah.
No,
And then-
contractually, I only have to do it in the office. But
The next
okay.
question we often get is, who's the beauty, who's the brains in the operation? And I think most people would agree I'm the beauty, you're the brains.
And the brain. Oh, wow! You gave me brains. I thought you were going to claim
I'm
both.
I'm the beauty, you're the brains.
Got it. Yes.
No, but in all
Yes,
seriousness,
Chief.
people want to know
Beautiful.
how we get along at home when it comes to weather. And I have to be honest, she really knows her stuff. So I often I have a big mouth. I do a lot of talking, but in the end, she usually gets it right.
Well, he secretly knows his stuff too, but the reason it works is because we work different shifts here. So obviously, you're on every morning.
It's a key to a happy marriage.
Yeah,
right?
it really is. Different shifts at work. And then I'm here in the afternoons, of course, with Mike. But severe weather, which is a huge component of the summer, is also a part of our special and what we want to talk to everybody about and what questions we want to answer tonight.
Yes, so let's talk about severe weather. We've had a couple rounds of it. Tornado warnings. We had a confirmed tornado just a couple days ago in Odenton. In Anne Arundel County there. And we're getting into the worst of it. Now, typically, as far as tornadoes and the traditional tornadoes, we think of the spring months. But it seems like in recent years, we sort of pushed these out. I remember last year we had pretty significant tornado outbreak on your birthday, which was in early June. So
Yep.
it does. We can see these in June.
And we're looking at video from just last Thursday with all of the wind damage that people honestly are still kind of recovering from. All those big winds with all the trees down. And this is our second really bad straight line wind event of the season. We had one earlier in May where a lot of trees came down. We sadly had 2 fatalities as a result of it. We also had Friday, May 30th, when we had so many tornado warnings. That was when a tornado was confirmed out in Luray, Virginia. So we've already had such an active spring / early summer. And a lot of people want to know, how long is this going to last? Like, how many more severe weather days do I need to be ready for? One of our viewers wants to know, isn't tornado season over after June? Because in a lot of the Midwest, it really does quiet down.
She has the answers.
Yes. Well, and I also want to give you credit as my at-home storm spotter, because a lot of the times I'm in here, Mike and I are doing storms. We don't have any windows, FYI. We're just running off of radar and instinct. And you tell me, okay, this is what's happening, and this is what I'm seeing out in the
Well,
storm.
I mean, here's the deal, and it's time for a confessional. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't. I spend a lot of time by myself at home.
He's out tonight. This is big.
Yeah, so I sit at home and, I monitor
Watch out the
things.
window, yes.
Yeah, so that's really what goes on there.
I know. To answer, though, this viewer's question, we can have severe weather almost any time of the year. Do you know? Do you remember we had a tornado warning on New Year's Eve? Last December 31st.
I certainly do, and
We
they're
could
very
literally-
proud that was the latest one ever.
Yes, but we could literally have it any time of the year. And so you always have to be ready for it. We could have tornado warnings in the spring, in the summer, even into possibly even in the fall. I mean, we've had them in September. So one thing I want to show you before we get into watches and warnings as we go to graphics is there has been one benefit of our severe weather season and one benefit only, and that is that we've really pulled ourselves out of this drought that we were in all last year.
It was bad.
So the drought monitor has gotten so much better. I mean, we've literally eradicated it for DC. It's still a little patch in Northeast Maryland where they're still kind of battling some dry conditions. So
and obviously with even rain today, we're putting a dent into it each and every day here.
yeah, so that has been a good thing, but unfortunately, I feel like we're now veering into flooding and flash flooding issues, as we tend to do when you so quickly come out of a drought. So far this season, this is kind of like on the left, 2024. So this is last year, the severe thunderstorm warnings that we
Great
had, the
stats
tornado
here.
warnings we
Okay.
had. Yes, thank you, Mike Thomas. And the flash flood, these are warnings that have been issued.
Yep.
And you can compare it to all of 2024. So I'm sorry, so 2025 is on the right. That's what we've had so far this year. 2024 is all of last year. And obviously most of this is, I guess you could say, front-loaded, right? All of the spring and the first month of summer. But we have already had nearly 200 severe thunderstorm warnings. We had 307 total last year. We've already had 25 tornado warnings, including 15 on May 30th. We had 50 all of last summer. And look at flash
Incredible.
flooding. 50 warnings so far.
Incredible. Caitlin, quick question.
Yeah.
From Jessica. Midwest transplant here. How does the tornado setup in the DMV differ from other areas like Indiana or Missouri or Nebraska, where you did some time?
I know, Jessica, I did work in Omaha, Nebraska for several years, and yeah, they get the real deal storms out there, terrifying. We still have our own setup. I would say that our parameters are a little more modified here. We don't get the same geography that they have in the central part of the country, where there's no mountains, there's not really many trees. The storms come ripping across.
Nothing sexier than somebody who knows weather just talking in my ear.
Well, I'll
Continue.
remind that all of your fans that come out to say hello to you and wonder if
Whisper
you're single
sweetly
yet.
to me when you talk to me about
Yeah,
tornadoes.
yeah.
Okay. Do we have any more graphics
Much
here?
better audience. We do have one more, yes.
Okay.
And this is just real quickly the difference between a watch versus warning, which I get these questions a lot too. A watch means conditions are favorable to develop. Warnings are imminent, meaning
Yes.
that the storm is happening now. So everybody be safe. Even I just want to say too, lightning. Sadly, a few years ago, the fatalities we had down on the National Mall, it's not a severe weather parameter, but it's still a part of every thunderstorm that can be deadly.
Take it very seriously. Yesterday, 18 people got struck by lightning in a park to our south. And this time of year it gets very dangerous. I think we have 4 deaths in the country so far with lightning. All right, speaking of lightning safety and being out in the world, our Jen Delgado has boat safety. Now, if I had a boat, I don't know, my boat would be so big I'd have people helping me.
Yeah, well,
So I'd be
that's why
safe
you
with
get
my
paid the
boat.
big bucks here, Tucker.
Yeah.
You can get your boat.
Take it away, Jen.
Well, summer is here, and a lot of people want to go out into the water. I mean, of course, that comes with living in the Washington, D.C. area. A lot of us want to go into the Potomac River, but we want to make sure you know what to do if you are planning to do that. safety is certainly key. Joining me right now, we have Lieutenant Doug. And Lieutenant Doug, you are with Montgomery County's Swiftwater Rescue Team, one of two across the county. And you know, we don't want to see you coming out there. So what are the tips for people when they're thinking about going out in the water?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're more than ready to come out and save anybody if they need it, but we don't want to do it. So one thing I really want to make a point of is that swimming in the Great Falls area of the Potomac River is illegal and unsafe. And we actually go out sometimes and we tell people this and things, but still we have people swimming in the river, and it's a very dangerous portion of the river, and that's why we don't want you swimming in it.
Yeah, you know, we have some video, and it shows when you guys were just out a couple weeks ago when 2 kids were out there and they nearly died. I mean, it can be deadly.
That's correct, and they were swimming in an area that was illegal to swim, that was dangerous to swim, and they did not have PFDs on.
Right, okay, so the key is don't swim in the Potomac River. We all know that, but maybe you want to get out there and do some canoeing, and what are those tips for that as well?
Absolutely. So if you're going to go canoeing, have the proper equipment, have the proper knowledge, make sure you're wearing your PFD, make sure somebody knows where you're at, and make sure you know the area as well and have like a phone with you or anything like that if you do get in any kind of trouble.
Right, and we need to be weather aware because we've had so much rainfall. The river is high and certainly is muddy, and then you have to bring this guy out here. What do you call this, and tell us how this works?
So this is an inflatable rescue boat, and this is one of the different styles of boats that we use when we have to come out and do a rescue. We also have some larger boats, but they're all inflatable and similar to this in style.
All right, so you come out there a lot of times and you find people without life jackets, and that's not what you want to find.
Correct. So we carry some extra life jackets with us in case we find people, and we regularly do. We pull people out of the Potomac River in an area they're not supposed to be in without PFDs, and that's super dangerous.
Super dangerous, and no drinking on the river either.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much, Lieutenant Doug. And of course, we don't want to see them out there, but now you have these safety tips, so hopefully you can enjoy summer the smart way.
Thank you, Jan. That was
Awesome.
fabulous.
Yes, we covered all of our safety topics: heat, pets, and boating.
I know. I wanted to, get some music to accompany all of this, but we'll work on that for next time.
That'll be the next
Yeah,
special.
we're working on this. All right, the next question, and we're getting a lot of questions. What's up with hurricane season? Every year we got to worry about it. Speaking of boats and maritime interests, Florida to the Mid-Atlantic here, I don't want to say we're due because we don't frequently get hurricanes and tropical storms here. We often get sort of the fringe effects, but it's something we really got to watch the next couple months.
Well, you've lived in this area your whole life, pretty much, give or take, and you have actually seen hurricanes, whether they're just remnant lows, do all kinds of different damage: rain, flooding, wind, tornadoes,
I remember
severe
names.
weather.
Hurricane Agnes in the early 70s, one of my first very early
that's going
childhood
back.
memories. There are only like 3 of us that are still alive that remember it. Isabel.
Yes, Isabel. That was actually, Mike and I looked that up, the costliest hurricane to affect the D.C. area.
It was quite impactful. Irene, I was down in Ocean City for it.
Seafoam, of course, we've had many. And we usually do get impacted by at least a storm or two every year, whether it's just from heavy rain or thunderstorms and severe weather.
Okay, we're going to toss to a package, but before we do, can we show the Fox 5 weather setup? Yeah, thank you. Caitlin, real quick. If we can show that on there, that'd be great. Do we look like superheroes? And if so, which superhero would you be?
Oh my gosh.
Huh?
Sadly, I have to go back to the only ones I remember, which are what? Catwoman, Batwoman. Who would you be? I know.
Kind of catty sometimes.
I'm impressed with how tall they made Tucker in that graphic.
That is absolutely false. All right.
Look at that airbrushing. I mean, just
All right.
I'm going to say everyone.
I'm not asking for. I just asked what superhero you were going to be. I'm not.
Years ago.
Photoshop is a godsend.
Okay,
Yeah.
we've had enough of you. Thank you for visiting. Let's go
And
to
what
that package
superhero
now.
are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
Taylor
your cape?
Grenda's got your latest on the tropics. What we're expecting.
What superhero are you?
Let's talk about the new hurricane season of 2025, which officially kicked off on June 1st. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, goes all the way through November 30th. So as of June 24th, we've actually had our first named storm of the season, Tropical Storm Andrea, but we still have a long list of names to get through. Some of them are actually repeats from previous seasons. We do have Humberto, which is a repeat of previous seasons, Karen, also Olga, Pablo. So again, a long list of names to get through. So it has been a very quiet start, but that doesn't mean the whole season's going to be quiet. Here's what we are officially kind of looking at. Some of this coming out of the National Hurricane Center, and some of this is our outtake, but we are anticipating 13 to 19 named storms, total hurricanes between 6 to 10, major hurricanes, which is category 3 or more, between 3 to 5. So there's a 60% chance to see an above normal season. And although it's been a very quiet start, we have a couple of things that we are looking at that could make it very active. So above average ocean ocean temperatures. That's one of them. They're already running very warm. And again, that season will be ongoing through November 30th. So a long time that it can certainly warm up. So that's where we are today. But peak hurricane season is usually typically between August to really late August all the way through about mid-September. That's when we see the most active, at least Atlantic basin storms start to get going. So again, hurricane strength go anywhere between 1 to 5 right there. So hopefully we don't get to the 5 range. But we do have a pretty good chance to see between 3 to 5 hurricanes. So in terms of category strength. So here's why we are anticipating this. And so it's in the neutral phase. So we're not technically in El Nino. We're also not in La Nina. Warmer ocean temperatures, weak wind shear all make way for a very active season. And also the high activity coming off of a West African monsoon season. That's something we look at too. And of course, that northern shift of the monsoon season too. So we'll keep a close eye on this. That's how we are looking at for the 2025 hurricane season. Back.
Thank you, Taylor. And we had Andrea, of course. She showed you the names there. And so it's my favorite. Tucker's never going to be. We never get to tease. But we did have Andrea just yesterday. It lasted for a couple hours. So we have had a storm in the month of June. Of course, as she showed you in the graphics, things really don't ramp up until August.
Yeah.
And then
and wasn't it a few years ago we had one in like January that they randomly?
And we did. We had a random one in January. So, so what are we thinking for the summer? Let's get down to it because while we're
I
live,
wanted to ask, you like it when people whisper sweet nothings what they're talking. Does it work for me, or is that just a Caitlin thing?
is this a lead up to your OnlyFans account?
We're gonna plug the OnlyFans again. Let's go ahead and jump in. We got the numbers, or at least some of the expectations from this season. We mentioned one of the things that they look at from the National Hurricane Center heavily is El Nino, La Nina.
Sure.
And there's none of that this year.
So what we call big signals.
Right.
I mean, that's what I always say. So you need a big signal.
I mean, the Atlantic's warm. That's one thing. But other than that, and we had some Saharan dust, which is fancy talk for a little bit of sand in the atmosphere, calming things down the start here. We really think that the season ramps up, as it often does, second half of it.
Okay.
So, August, September, October, and that's usually when storms would come up a little closer to D.C. anyway. I mean, most of our activity, as I'll show you in just a moment, has come during the later season. So pop quiz time before we wrap it up here.
I can't wait. I love pop quizzes.
So what was the last, so this is storms where the center passed near D.C. What was the last named remnant that came up our way?
Oh, that is a good question.
Yeah, I ask all the good questions.
That is a good question.
It was in 2023.
All right. I'm not going to remember it, so we're going to keep it moving.
How about Ophelia?
Oh, Ophelia. Yes, of course.
September 2023. How about the last tropical storm?
Let's try to remember that.
Isaias.
I wasn't going to get that.
No,
I do remember the name, though, and I remember really struggling with that
because no one could pronounce it.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. This one you just covered with Caitlin, the costliest. That was Isabel, which you remember from 2003.
Yeah, I mean, I had personal experience with that one.
Right.
Lots of trees and that kind of thing.
I don't remember it much. I mean, I was 13 here, but I don't remember it much.
I was like 40.
Yeah,
okay,
that happens.
Continue.
Last hurricane. How about 1933? Did you know we had a hurricane up here in D.C.?
Yeah, the guy came right up famously came up the Chesapeake. And, Isabel passed just to our south there and was also originally a tropical storm, and they upgraded it to a hurricane. So you just want to remind everybody, we often just think of like Ocean City and our beach communities being impacted, but we can be impacted here as well. Sometimes we get the remnant lows and we don't get 20 inches of rain, but we have tornado outbreaks like we've had with past storms. So.
Right, what was it, Ivan? Was that
Ivan,
2004? Yeah. Had all the record tornado outbreak around here. Oh, last fun fact. Did you know we've had a Category 2 hurricane in D.C.?
I did not know that.
You did? So it was from when you were a kid again. We're talking 1878, the Great Gale of 1878. Okay. Oh, come on.
Yeah,
and my shot at
and how do we think they know that was a Category 2?
That's what we were asking the same questions,
right?
But yeah, I mean, I think some guys, Ben Franklin was flying his kite or something. And
right, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. Ben might have not been around for 100 years.
It's in the book, man. It's in the book.
All right, we're going to wrap this pretty soon, but we want to thank everybody. I think we'll keep the conversation going on our YouTube channel if you want to continue to talk to us or ask us questions. We'll try to answer a few questions on YouTube for a few minutes. This is an experiment, and I feel like it went pretty well, but you guys let us know what you liked and what you didn't like, and we will try to improve upon it because it's great to have conversations with everybody. It's great to be more in depth than we can be on TV.
We like conversations. I mean, if you can't tell, we're conversational people. So we want to have a conversation with you all at home. So yeah, we'll stick around on our YouTube channel, Fox 5 DC, and we'll take some questions that you guys have for us. And we'll
I
keep
just want to
rocking and
thank
rolling.
our friend Jim over here who's been helping us produce this. Jim, can you quickly just show again the graphic? I want to know what superhero Mike would be.
Probably the Flash, because I'm about to flash on out of here.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike. You're kind of in the back there. You know, that's not a good sign. Once they put you in the back, you know, next thing that happens is poof, you're gone.
Well, if that happens, that happens. That's fine.
Thank you for the summer weather outlook. I want to end it on that note. Mike did a fabulous job. Thank you for all the graphics, and big thank you to Caitlin for joining us.
Thank you for staying up with us, Chief.
We
This
are
is
off
great.
to, what's our next show here on
Fox 5 local on the Plus.
On the Plus. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
YouTube, stay here.
Yeah, don't move,
Yeah.
YouTube.
Don't move, YouTube.
You're not allowed to go anywhere.
We're still talking to you. Freddie, Joanne, we got you.
Right. Now, all right, we're off air. Now you're getting the real unscripted stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Mike,
Let's
that
see.
was awful. You sucked.
I
What
know,
happened? No, I'm kidding.
I know. Well,
Okay.
it's because I was trained by you back in the day. That's why.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute. Some people don't know. Mike was actually, okay, let's talk about Fox weather history. I was an intern in the early 2000s, and Mike was my intern along with Tony Perkins. In what year?
2011. That was
2011.
one of the most hot, talk hot, miserable summers. One of the most, I remember like sitting in the basement of our old building and just doing the forecast and it being 102 every day, sunshine and just nothing. That summer was miserable.
Yeah, I remember.
And
it
not just
very
because I was
well.
working with you, but like the
Okay.
weather was miserable. As
Okay,
well.
I get that. Somebody has to ask us a question on this on the YouTube channel. If you don't ask us a question, we don't see it starting to pop up and something happening on this channel.
Well, Joanne's letting us know that, hey, the volume on the packages was a little low. So that's something, well, we're working out the kinks. It was the first time thing here. I would say Tucker would be the suit. Freddie likes you as the superhero.
Okay.
Generally speaking. Let's see. We talked about the Midwest transplant. Let me get in here and see. I've been watching for 30 years from Real Raw Fitness. How about that? I'm loving the whole live thing. I'm interested to know, is Tucker going to be back on? Oh, you already answered that.
We're getting hearts. Something good's happening. We got a heart.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
people are liking the feed. And
Okay.
how could you not like us? I haven't seen Mike Thomas in a while. Hi, Freddie. Is it better to drink water or Gatorade when it's hot outside? Tucker, I'll let you take this one. You seem to be the health
Well, that's a
expert.
great question. We do these health segments all the time on our morning show, and I think most of the experts would say that water is the most hydrating of all liquids. But, in a pinch, Gatorade is good too.
Free Game says, yo, Tuck.
Hey!
This is tight. Online after hours with Tuck. I like
Yeah.
that. The after hours with Tucker Barnes.
Can we dim the lights?
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on.
No. We can.
We've
Oh, wait.
got,
I think I actually can. Wait.
Waiter, can I get my martini now? Yes.
It
we'll keep
didn't work.
going.
I tried.
Okay, Kamara, thank you. I love you guys, and it made my night to see the whole weather team together. Yeah, we really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun, and we like to be able to be interactive with all of you at home. It's funny to talk to a camera for a living and not be able to interact, but this is fun because we can interact with everybody.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, that's what we do here at Fox 5. We're a little different.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
Tell me about your workout routine. How's it going?
How's it look? Look at that.
I don't mean. I'm sort of getting.
Yeah.
I got kind of a muffin top.
Should we
I
do
can
it?
see myself out of the corner. I don't like what I
Do
see.
you want to see who can do more squats?
Okay, yeah, this is what happened when we start freestyling.
This is great.
You might not want that.
YouTube crowd, I bet you're so glad you stuck around for this. Is something unusual because of your show schedule? Yeah, this is unusual. Tucker does not stay up this late, even on the weekend.
My bedtime's in like 45 minutes, right? Because a lot of people are asking, am I going to get back up? Am I getting back up tomorrow morning to come back to work? I am going to be here at 5 a.m. So I will be back here bright and early to get started again. But this is, we're trying to have a little fun and try something different.
So there's a summer question. Let's see. From Robert, will we get more dangerous heat waves this summer? I think so. It's early.
Yeah, so here's my take on summer. It's always hot and humid, but just how relentlessly hot and humid will it be? Last year was particularly bad. We were over 100, 6 times?
Over 106 times. Yep.
Yeah.
I just had those stats somewhere.
No, I don't think we're going to see too many days over 100, and I'll tell you why. It's been so wet. It's really hard for the atmosphere to get itself up over 100 when we have so much water in the atmosphere.
And usually if we do those 100-degree days, they're in the front half of the summer when it's not as humid, because that humidity kind of builds. So the fact that we didn't do one during this heat wave when we actually thought we would.
Right, it looked like we were
that's
doing 102.
Right, we did 99. I mean, that's plenty hot, but we never made 100. So I think it gets a little bit more doubtful. Hey, July's got plenty of 100-degree opportunities. We'll see, but I think humidity is going to be the tale of this summer, and I do think we're going to get more heat waves, particularly in August. I think August is going to end up.
August often delivers, you know, they call it the dog days of August, and it does seem like, my personal, this is my own personal view, let's just do the heat through August so September can be that nice transition month. Sometimes if we get it good in August, the summer comes back in September and delivers punishing blows.
Was it 2 years ago we had more like 90-degree days
Yeah.
in September than
Yeah.
all of the summer? That was kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Coach Hughes says, great seeing you out on Friday, Leesburg.
Yeah, we're doing the zip trips, and come out and see us every Friday. We're having a great summer, and you know we love to get out and see everybody in the community. So you had a great time out in Leesburg.
Despacho loved the show. That's great. Kamari says she's up with you every morning. That we'd like to see.
Do?
Mike, I'm going to say I graduated from MC the past month. I have an associate's art degree. That's great, Reba.
Yeah.
Good job, Freddie.
Yeah.
And tell Caitlin Roth that too. Oh, I'm going to get right on that.
Good. Okay. Any other questions? Other than that, we're going to wrap it, and I'm going to go to bed.
It's been no. So we're gonna. They want us to actually do. I'm getting the call from our boss Paul. He wants you here for another hour because he's liking this so much.
Well, you know, anything can be negotiated. As I've been saying all spring and summer, I have a tip jar. If the tip jar is full, I can keep going. If the tip jar is empty, I run out of steam very quickly.
Why don't you do the 10 and 11 tonight? You're chief, and I'll watch.
I would love to do the 10, 11.
Would you?
Actually, let me just pass along a fun question we got earlier from M. Holler, who asked, would Tucker do traffic and Annie Mae do weather ever for the whole morning show?
Would you?
I don't see why not. I feel like I was born to do traffic.
Yeah, I kind of think that too. Yeah, you know the roads.
I do know the roads. I've sat on all
could
of
do
them,
traffic,
so I mean,
man.
why
You could
couldn't
do
I?
it.
Yeah, so we just have to talk Annie Mae into doing weather, but since she tells me when she sees people out in public, they tell her she does a great job doing the weather. Why wouldn't she? Apparently, I'm not too memorable, so that's okay.
Yeah, they like you at the zip trips though.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you to everybody who commented. Thank you to Mike Thomas. Jim, can you bring yourself over here?
Come on,
Come
Jim.
on,
Come
Jim.
on, Jim. Come on.
Okay,
It's
well,
just
we've
you
had a
two.
lot of production help here to try to pull off this show. If it's deemed a success, we'll be back.
Will there be more smoke from the Canadian wildfires? That's actually
That's
a
a
good
great question. That is a great question. You want to answer it?
Yeah, I occasionally, that's hard to predict because you never know when the fires are going to be bad up there, what the wind pattern's going to be. If there's larger fires, absolutely, it could be. I didn't even see, do they have it under control yet? Do you know?
No, they've kind of given up trying to control the wildfires in Canada. I feel like they've
Come on, Canada.
sort of turned the page and they've decided that they want nature to take its course unless it threatens, areas where there are a lot of people living. So they generally let it go. Here's the take on the Canadian wildfires, and here's why we keep getting stung in the spring months. Remember a few years ago when the air was so bad? If the fire's up in Canada and we have a southerly flow, like the Bermuda High, we don't get a lot of that smoke because our
it's
winds
all-
are out of
it's
the
all going
south.
north, yeah.
So it's when we get that northwest flow. We don't typically get that flow very often in the summer months. So my take is where the current fires are, where they've been the last couple of weeks, we would not see much more wildfire smoke in the next couple of weeks.
That was it May or was it April when it was like code purples and really bad? I think it was May, I want to say, of
Yeah,
last
are you
year.
talking about a couple years ago or
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago?
A couple years ago.
Yeah,
when
it was May. It was May and June. I remember we had zip trips that we were doing. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And then someone asked about the July 4th
Forecast. And I've gotten a couple of requests for that. You want to go for it?
No, I want you to go. I didn't look at it.
I mean, look, I feel like it's going to be a sort of a typical summer day. I don't think we're going to have extreme heat, probably about 90 degrees. And if I had to make an early call, there could be a few scattered storms, but it doesn't look like it's a washout. It doesn't look like there's anything driving a lot of heavy weather on the 4th of July.
Yeah,
So,
a little early in the forecast
Yeah.
period. I mean, things can always change in the week, but I did know this. It didn't look as hot as right now. So good news there.
and that's good news.
Yeah. All right. I think everybody's saying great show. So glad the YouTube crowd liked it. I think we'll probably wrap it up. You want to wrap it up? You want to go to bed?
Wait, there's one more request. Everybody's asking Mike if he could take his shirt off.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's
the only thing.
that's the
That'll
only
cost
fan.
you $19.99 a month. And that's for the first 3 months, and then
That's
it
a
goes up.
subscription service, so you're right. We're not going to probably do that tonight. But you know what, Mike? If that's what it takes to get some more views, we'll do it.
Hey, we'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Fox.
Yeah.
We're here for the people, and if that's what the people want,
That's what people want. They want you to keep your shirt on. Maybe this will be like OnlyFans only. We'll flip it
Right, it's
around.
the opposite.
Right.
You
You'll
don't
ask
wanna
us not to do these things, and we'll do that for money too. Okay. Really enjoyed seeing everybody. We hope to see you soon. We hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something from it. And big thanks to all the weather forecasters here at Fox 5 to help us out. Big thanks to Mike and Caitlin for making graphics.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Great to
We'll
see you
soon.
guys.